Hello, my fellow Bereans. Today I want to show you a Bible, and I want to start by saying that this was ordered for me by Cecilia, and I just want to thank her for her generosity for sending this to me. I had never heard of this type of Bible, so just really a neat thing. So thank you so much. And I'll tell you right at the start. So this is the Naves Topical Bible, and it's Moody Press. And here is this page for anybody that's curious. So it's by Orville Nave, and it says it's a digest of the Holy Scriptures, more than 20,000 topics and subtopics, over 100,000 references to the Scriptures. And then it was revised by S. Coder. And this revised edition was done in 1974 by the Moody Bible Institute of Chicago. And then, so here's the preface. And so I'll show you how this works. And then I'll show you two ways that I want to use it. And actually, before I start though, I want to mention the thing that's so exciting to me about this is because we're coming into a time, and it might not be in my lifetime, but we are promised that there is going to be a time when true believers are going to be hated by the world. And so we want to be prepared for that time, or prepared for others around us, like our children that might go through that time. So this is one of those offline things that we can use. Right now, it's so easy to type into the computer whatever you're looking for and come up with Bible verses and commentaries, and there's so much information available, YouTube videos, all of that's out there. But at some point, we're not going to have that. So I love that this is going to help me during that time. It's something that I can have on my shelf available to help me. So how this works is you have different topics. So like here we have Aaron, and then all kinds of verses on that subject, and a little bit of information about the verse, like the lineage of Aaron. It has Exodus 6 verses 16 through 20, and then the priesthood, and that's Exodus 28 verse 1 and 29 verse 9. So that's the way it works. And it's throughout the Bible, any topic you can think of, like that says judgment of God. When I was looking through it earlier, there was one on atonement, so many different words, so you can look at it. And just to let you know, at the end, there are some blank pages, and that's it. So that is completely what this book is all about, is having a lot of scripture verses about different topics. So as I mentioned, my thought for using this is twofold. The first thing is, say you're setting up a prayer Bible, which I know a lot of people like, and you're looking for Bible verses on different topics. Now, right now, Google is so easy, but here you have anger, and you never know, it might have something in here that you haven't noticed before, and there's all kinds of verses. All these are on anger, and all of these, so that's quite a bit on the subject of anger. Now I'll tell you, like something like sadness. I looked in here for this, and I haven't Googled the topic of sadness, but I was thinking about that and I didn't see anything. Instead of going to all those spots, I'll tell you, like sadness, sorrow, loneliness, it wasn't in here. So there must not be Bible verses on that, or it isn't a topic that was thought of to put in here. So in case you're curious, here is the topic on salvation, and there is just lots and lots of verses on salvation. I think where I would do it differently is have just the scripture verses. So here is plan of salvation. So this would also be their opinion. You've got to take everything with a grain of salt, go to the actual source and see what it says in the Bible itself, with the verses that come before it and with the verses that come after it. We need to be diligent Bereans. But let me go up close so you can see this. So under this topic of salvation, like Revelations 3 verse 17, because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with good, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me. So that's beautiful. God is calling to each one of us. I love that. So this would be something you could just, if you're struggling with anger, like I was showing you before, just read through those verses. Let's go to love. So again, there are quite a few pages on the subject of love, and it looks like it has the whole verse included, not just a part of the verse. And so if you're struggling, then you can just read through these verses. So you could actually set this Bible up like a prayer Bible. So you're struggling with love, and here they're all together together for you, ready to go. I really like that. But anyway, so you can use those verses for that. And then also, say I'm in the book of Ruth, and here's this word Boaz. And I'm curious, is that anywhere else in the Bible? So that is where this book could come in handy. And I'm hoping that what I think is going to come up comes up in it. Let's see if it does. It says Boaz, an ancestor of Jesus. We see that in Matthew 1 verse 5, and then in Luke chapter 3 verse 32, and then the history of, and then we have the book of Ruth chapters 2 through 4 is where he appears. And then here it is, one of the brazen pillars of the temple. So we see that in 1 Kings 7:21 and 2 Chronicles 3:17. So that's really cool. So I only had 1 Kings 7:21 written here, and when I looked online, that was the only thing that was mentioned. But in this book, it says also in 2 Chronicles chapter 3 verse 17 that fact is also mentioned. So I'm going to go there and look. So verse 17 says, and he reared up the pillars before the temple, one on the right hand and the other on the left, and called the name of that on the right hand Jachin, and the name of that on the left Boaz. So that's another place I can add to that section in my Bible. So anyways, that's just another resource that I can use when I'm looking for information. And at this point, we have the internet, and I'm always surprised when the internet doesn't have everything that's there. I just feel like all of it's available to it. Why did that not also mention the last verse in chapter 3 of 2 Chronicles? I don't know. So it's just going to be nice to have that other resource. So in case you're curious, the last page is 1376, and there are a bunch of Z things like zoo hour, zoozims. Now I do want to mention, for me anyways, I like get everything into my study Bible, so I don't need to go to all these different books. So I wouldn't ever just think, oh, well, that's in this book, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to always be transferring those notes into my study Bible, so it's all together. So I really like this as a resource. This is just something I can have on my shelf and just get additional information. I love having this available. So again, thank you so much, Cecilia, for thinking of me and making this available to me. This is very exciting to have this resource. And as always, be well and God bless.